All right, guys, you asked for it, you got it. I hope this thing helps. This is a review video for test 25. First question, find the nth term of the sequence, arithmetic sequence. And then what is the 10th term given, these two things right here. Okay, so first of all, whenever it asks you for the nth term, it's basically asking you to write the formula. Remember, nth term, leave the n in. So the formula is this. I'm going to write it on this problem. I'm not going to write it again, but there it is. You should have that down somewhere anyway. So the nth term is going to be the first term, which they told me was -4. N minus 1, that stays, times d. D is -1/2. So that's all you need to do there. Just write the formula. Then it says, what's the 10th term? Well, to find the 10th term, we're just going to plug in 10 for n. 10 minus 1 is 9 times -1/2. And you can punch that right in your calculator, or you can do it by hand. Doesn't matter. You should get -17/2 right there. So those are two answers for number 1. Number 2 is a yes or no question. It's asking you, is it arithmetic? Yes or no? And here's how you tell. The difference, if it is arithmetic, one, you got to tell the common difference, which means there has to be a common difference. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to do natural log 3 minus natural log 2 on my calculator. I'm going to do natural log 4 minus natural log 3. And if I need to, natural log 5 minus natural log 4. And see if I get the same difference every time. And as I punch those in, even the first two, I don't get the same thing. That means it's no. All right, if I'd have gotten the same difference, I would have put yes, and I also told what the difference was. Number 3, ask you for a few things. It says, what's the common difference? Well, the common difference you can tell by looking is 4. It asks you for the 5th term. The 5th term is the next term. Okay, they gave you the first 4. The 5th term is the next one. That's 17. They ask you for the 100 term and the nth term. You need to find the nth term first. That's the formula. Remember, the formula is the first term plus n minus 1 times d, and d is 4. So to find the 100th term, I'm just going to plug in 100 where the n is and work that out, and I'm getting 397. So number 3, 4 different answers. All right, let's go number 4 here. Number 4 says find the 8th partial sum. Now, the way you do a sum of an arithmetic, you use this formula, where n is how many terms there are, a1 is the first term, and an is the last term. Okay, this time it says the 8th partial sum, which means there are 8 numbers. So I'm going to do 8 over 2. The first term they told me was 100. Here's the problem. I don't know what the last term is. I don't know what the 8th term is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the other formula to find the 8th term. The 8th term is the first term plus n minus 1, which is 8 minus 1, times d, which is -5. Work that out, I'm getting 65. That's the last term. That's the 8th term of the sequence. So it goes right there in your parentheses. That gives me 4 out there. 165 in there. When you multiply that, you get 660. And number 5, also find the sum. So it's the same form that we just did. The difference in number 5 is I don't know what n is. I know it's going to have something. N is going to be over 2. Remember, n means how many terms are there, and I don't know. But I do know the first term and the last term. Now, anytime you're missing anything in the sum formula, go back and use the original one. So I need to find the how many terms there are. So an is the last term equals the first term plus n minus 1 times d. And you got to figure out d here. Like, what's the difference in those terms? Well, they're adding 3 halves. That's the difference. Okay, so I got to solve for n. Let's move that 3 over. I'm out of breath. I'm sorry. I'm kind of working out between problems. Anyway, so I'm dividing by 3 halves. If I divide by 3 halves, I get 22. Move the 1 over, I get 23. All right, so that's my n. It goes right there. Now I can just punch it in my calculator and see what we get. And what I get when I punch that in is 621 over 2. What I really did, if you want to know how I did it in my calculator, I just did 23. I knew the parentheses was 27, so I just did 23 times 27 and put it over 2. Okay, number 6, now we're going to geometric, the part that I wasn't there for on Wednesday. Is it geometric? It's geometric if they're multiplying by the same number every time. Really and truly, you could also say if they're dividing by the same number every time, because when you divide, you're really multiplying by the reciprocal. So, so what's happening here is they multiplied by a fourth, multiplied by a fourth, by a fourth, the whole thing. They multiplied by a fourth. They're divided by 4. So is it geometric? Yep, because they're multiplying or dividing by the same number every time. All right, number 7. Number 7 says find the common ratio. That's R. The 5th term, the nth term. So 3 things. R, first of all, they're telling you is geometric. R is key in geometric. And the way you find R is you put the second term on top of the first term or any term over the one before it, and it should give you the same thing. If I put -5 over -20 and reduce that, that's 1/4. There's my R. The fifth term, find the fifth term, that's just the next term, by the way. So I'm going to do, the way you get each term, the following term, is you multiply it by R. They're just multiplying by 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So I'm going to multiply the top by 1, the bottom by 4. There's the fifth term. There's my R. And then again, they're saying find the nth term. When they say find the nth term, they want the formula. Now the formula for geometric looks like this. All right, so remember, when it says nth term, leave the n's in. The first term is -20. R is 1/4 to the n minus 1 power. And there's that. That's not too bad. 6 and 7, even though they're geometric, they're really not bad. Make sure you get those. Number 8. Number 8 says the first term of a geometric sequence is 9. So here's what I know. I know A1 is 9. The fourth term is 1/3. I know the fourth term is 1/3. I need to figure out eventually what is the sixth term. Okay, so one thing I tried to teach you all today was you have this formula, the one we used, like you have that formula right there, which works every time. But, okay, I just paused there for a second. I don't know where it was. But anyway, there is that formula. That's the main one. But what I try to get y'all to see today is as long as, let's say I have A4 right there, I can do A2R squared. I can do A3R to the first. The key is as long as these two numbers over here add up to be that sub number over there, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do, I cannot find A6 unless I know what R is. I've got to find R. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the two they gave me to figure out what R is. They gave me A4 and A1. And what I know is A1 times R cubed has to be A to the A4 because 1 plus 3 add up to be 4. So here's what I know. The fourth term is 1/3. I'm going to put that there. The first term is 9. I don't know R. I need to find R so I can find the sixth term. There's no way to find that without R. Okay, so start out. Let's divide both sides by 9. You can do it in your calculator if you need to. That's 1/27. Really, you're just multiplying that 3 by 9. Take the cube root. The cube root of 1 is 1. The cube root of 27 is 3. There's my R. Now I can find A6. All right, A6 is going to be A1 R to the fifth because 5 plus 1 is 6. So A6 equals the first term, which was 9, R, which is 1/3 to the fifth power. You can punch that straight in your calculator, hit math frac. Going to get 1/27. That is the sixth term. All right, now 9 and 10 are both finding sums. Over 9, 10, and 11 are all three finding sums of geometry. Now, that's the biggest formula we have. It's going to be on the board for you tomorrow. Looks just like this. The first term, 1 minus R to the n power over 1 minus R. Whether you are working this out with me or not, you need to practice punching this right in your calculator when we get there. Okay, the problem with this one is I don't know what n is. Okay, so I don't know what to put right there with the S. I do know the first term is 1. I can figure out R. R is, remember, you just put the second term on top of the first term. So it's -1/2. So I'm going to put -1/2 in here. That's not very good, sorry. -1/2. Still not too good. To the n power, which I don't know, over 1 minus R, which is -1/2. All right, now, what I do every time, and it's up to you, it's a lot to punch in your calculator. 9 times out of 10, you can do the bottom in your head. That's really 1 plus 1/2, which is like 1.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that there. So when I get ready to punch in my calculator in a minute, that's pretty easy. All right, my numerator, I've got to find the n. Now, just like the arithmetic we did earlier, if you're missing something, you need to go back to this original. Here's your original right here. Okay, that's the original geometric formula. All right, AN stands for the last term, which is 1/512. A1 stands for the first term, which is 1. R we know is -1/2. This should be a negative over there. To the n minus 1 power. Okay, here's where it gets a little tricky. It's not tricky, it's just kind of weird. If that was not a 1 right here, if that was not anything other than 1, I'm dividing right now and taking it over. Okay, but if I divide by 1, it doesn't matter, it's gone anyway. Okay, so I've got to figure out what power I'm going to raise 1/2 to get a 1 over 5/12. And the 1's already 1. I'm not even worried about the numerators because they're both 1 already. But 2 to what power is going to be 5/12? And I'm not kidding. I'm just taking my calculator, and it's going to work tomorrow. Okay, I'm doing like 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 6th, 2 to whatever until I find it. And the answer is 2 to the 9th is what 5/12 is, which means this exponent has got to be 9. What is n going to be for that exponent to be 9? It's going to be 10. Okay, now it's kind of a weird thing the way we did that right there, but it's the best way to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 10, put it right there where that n was, and I'm going to punch that in my calculator and divide by 1.5 and see what I get. And I'm getting 341 over 5/12. Please, guys, I wish y'all would practice that right there, especially the calculator part. You have to punch the numerator in just like it looks. Okay, with parentheses everywhere. It's kind of a doozy. So I'll fire you out practice punching that in. All right, number 10. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you on number 10 here. Darn it. On number 10, I know that you all know that there's a sigma button on your calculator. All right, and you're welcome to use it. However, if I don't see at least the setup tomorrow, I'm not going to give you credit for it. So you can use your calculator to get the answer or check your answer, but I do need you to see your setup of the formula. Now, the good news with sigma is you know everything. Okay, I know n. N, how many numbers are there? Remember our little trick with sigma? You do the top minus the bottom plus 1. So 6 minus 0 is 6 plus 1 is 7. There's my n. My first term, the way you get your first term is you plug in the bottom number. If I plug in that bottom number, 1/2 to the 0 power is 1 times 4, which is 4. Then I'm going to go 1 minus r. Now r, I promise you this is true too. Whatever term has the exponent on it, this case is the 1/2, that's your r. Okay, so I'm going to have 1/2 to the r power, n power, and we already figured out n was 7, so that goes there. And on the denominator, I got 1 minus 1/2. Okay, now again, I always do the bottom in my head. 1 minus 1/2, that's 0.5 or just 1/2. I'm going to punch in the numerator, the whole numerator, then divide it by 0.5. I'm going to do all that. I get 127 over 16. And again, I would practice punching that in or go to your sigma button. When you get your calculator, will give you a decimal answer like something like 7.9375 or something like that. Do math frac, change it to a fraction. Number 11, the last one of these that's geometric. The key word in number 11 says the term of the infinite geometric series is convergent or divergent. If it is convergent, find its sum. Now, for it to be convergent, your r has to be between, I did that backwards, should be between -1 and +1. So to find r, we've done this 3 or 4 times now. You put the second term on top of the first term, okay, and figure out what that is. You can punch in your calculator like that if you want to. You can do keep, change, flip, whatever works for you. I'm just going to do keep, change, flip real quick. Here's keep, change, flip. The 2 and the 4 cancel. The 5 and the 25 cancel. I get 2/5. That's my r. Now, because it's between -1 and +1, it means I can do it. And because I can do it, that's called convergent. All right, and it tells you that in directions. If it is convergent, find the sum. Okay, if you get something that's not between -1 and +1, you can't do it. So it's divergent. You just write divergent, no work at all. Okay, now here's the formula for infinity or infinite series. And this is on the board tomorrow also. The first term over 1 minus r. It's the simplest one we do. The first term is 2/5. We just found out r was 2/5. So that gives me 2/5 over 3/5. The 5s will cancel. Get 2/3. Okay, so it's convergent and it's 2/3. All right, let's get this log. We got 3 review ones real quick, or 4. First of all, see log subtraction. Remember, you can't subtract logs. Log subtraction means division, so I'm going to divide those 2 logs into 1 log, make it equal 2. Now I only have 1 log, which means I'm about to swirl. I'm about to do 5 squared equals that. 5 squared is 25. And because I'm seeing a proportion there, I'm going to put 25 over 1 and cross multiply. And then it's going to solve that. I'm moving this x over, moving the 25 over, divide by 24. I get 26 over 24, which is really 13/12. Now, don't forget, anytime you have logs in your equation, you got to check. And by check, I mean your logs have to be positive. Hello? Hello? I was making a video and FaceTime popped up on my screen.
How many were there? Can you say 50?
Okay, I don't know if you just noticed that, but FaceTime just popped up on my video. Some of y'all know what's going on, some don't. While I'm talking about that, before we do the last two problems, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I hope you're watching so you'll get the news early. I'm going to let you have a free partner test tomorrow because I'm not going to be there and because I wasn't there Wednesday. The formulas will be on the board. You can partner up, do the best you can. I'm sure you'll be fine. Use the video over and over, wear it out, and do great. And I'll see you again on Monday, and I'll be a granddad number 2. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, 2 more. From 12 to 15. Okay, it says combine the expression using laws of logs. When it says combine, that means you should end up with one log at the end. So first of all, the numbers in the front are the exponents. Now 1/3 power, remember bottom is a root, top is a power. So that's really a cube root. This one's a square. Now the rule we learned when we were doing logs a long time ago is any log that's positive ends up in your numerator, any log negative ends up in your denominator. So I have 2 positive logs. I've got the x to the 4th, which is a positive log, and an x minus 1 squared, which is a positive log. And I have one that's negative, and that's the cube root of x plus 1. And that's all you do. Some of y'all can do that in one step. Some of y'all can do that without doing any work at all. Last one, 16. How long would it take 8,000 to double at an interest rate of 7%? This formula is not on the board. We've talked about this before. I really want you to know that formula. Golly, I do. It's the best formula ever. Okay, it says $8,000 to double. If you double 8,000, it turns into 16,000. That goes over there. 8,000 here. 1 plus the rate. The rate's 7% over 12 because it's compounded monthly. Over here is 12t. So first step is divide both sides by 8,000. That makes that 2. Also, I'm going to punch in the parentheses on my calculator and see what it equals. And it's 1.0058 to the 12t power. Now, when you get here, technically you can do any log base you want to. However, the smartest one to do is the weird base, log 1.0058, because that's going to make that whole side over here almost cancel out. So I'm going to do log base 1.0058 over here also of 2. Now what happens is, because this is both 1.0058, those cancel. So I just have 12t equals that log over there. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to punch in that log divided by 12, and that's going to be my answer. When I'm punching that in, ends up like 9.98 something. So I'm just going to put 10.0 years. I like it to go 1 decimal place on time because that makes a bit of sense. And guys, that's it. Again, you get to use a partner. Free one doesn't count as your real one, so take advantage of that. Congrats on that. Congrats to me on having another grandkid. And I'll see you Monday. Do your best. I'll see you Monday. Do great.